Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy The Fulfills, and I'm back again with another matchup guide video for Tekken 8. Now, if you guys are new to the channel or you're unfamiliar with this series, I've been doing a series in Tekken 8 for Nina, where I go through each and every single one of the matchups one by one, teaching you guys how I approach the matchups and how you guys can approach and just improve in playing those matchups in general. I've had a recent request. I might throw up the comment actually on the screen right now. If you're seeing this right now, there's videos for you. You wanted to see the Jack 8 matchup guide, and yeah, I've held you long enough, so here we go. Before we get started into this, let me know down below in the comments which character you guys would like me to do next, and I'll do my best to make that happen for you guys. Okay, as usual, I have my notes here that I've taken down. So what I'm gonna do for Jack here, Jack has a pretty large moveset, and I want to go through the most annoying ones, the things you see Jack players use a lot of the time, which is most likely the things that you guys may be struggling with a lot when it comes to Jack. The first thing I want to cover here is probably one of his most used buttons, and that's his down back one right here. Here we go. Down back one, right? This character is very good at poking. Down back one is +1 on hit. So if you get hit with down back one, you are -1 in that situation, right? Meaning you can still attempt to move, right? You can still attempt to sidestep certain things, and however, you are negative in that situation. So in reality, it's not your turn, pretty much. Now, the way I approach down back one, you can do it two ways, right? But one way is better than the other, in my opinion. So you can, of course, block this, right? If you have a read on it, you can block it. You're +12 here. He's only -12, right? So you can't get Wild Rising 1. That's not gonna work. Let me make him block afterwards as well. Block all. You block this, you're not gonna get Wild Rising. Oh, I can't get it. This won't work. Right? This is training mode, but this will not work. This is 13 frame start. Whereas blocking this makes you +12. So this wouldn't work. Wild Rising 3 wouldn't work either, that's 13 frame startup. The only thing you can get from this is Wild Rising 4. Right? That's the only punish you get. Now, for how quick his poke is, you're not gonna be blocking that on reaction, right? You're just gonna do that as a guess. How quick it is, only being able to get Wild Rising 4 as a punish can get pretty annoying. This is why when it comes to Jack, if you're going to have reads on his lows, a lot of the time it's worth just going for low parry instead. It's just a better option in general. You get way more from it. Let me do it. You get way more from it. You can get your combo. It's just so much more rewarding. So much more rewarding. It doesn't even matter if your combo is not even super optimal, honestly. Even if you do something like, I don't know, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. It's just, you get so much more reward. You get so much more reward. So when he's poking you with a lot of lows, if you're gonna commit to blocking anyways, like blocking low, you may as well try and go for a low parry against this character. You may as well. You just get rewarded way more. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to mention is something that they mix up a lot, and you might get the two confused actually. So this normal here may look very similar to his down back one. However, this is his full crouch down back one. They are different. If I play both of them at the same time, you'll be able to see the difference here. Here you go. That's the full crouch. Full crouch. Full crouch. Still full crouch. Crouch, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it at all? There we go. That was down back one. There it is. That's down back one. Right? So with the full crouch one, he extends his arm a bit further as well, and he has to be fully crouching. So if he's not doing it from a crouching state, then it wouldn't be down back one. The reason I'm showing you guys this is because this move is a lot different, and it leads to something else, which you guys may have seen. And this one is -3. Again, if you get hit with these lows, it's not your advantage in that situation. The reason I'm showing you full crouch down back 1 is because this version goes into a string, which can be pretty annoying if you don't know what your options are there. So this string right here from full crouch down back 1 goes into this string here. I'm gonna do it. Let me get rid of this. There you go. This 3-hit string right here. Right? Now, this string, you need to know about it. If you get hit by the first hit, of course, it's not a natural combo. You can still block the rest. Right? If you got counter hit, if I get counter hit, see that? Because I got counter hit, I got hit by the second hit. Right? However, if you block the first hit, the next hit is mid. So you need to stand up straight away. Otherwise, you will get hit like this. The next hit is mid. But when you block that, make sure you stand straight away. Now, there's more to it. There's more to it. You cannot interrupt in between these, by the way. Right? If I try to power crush after the first hit, for example, I got interrupted. Right? Still got interrupted. You can't rage up. You can't do anything there. The only thing you can do is parry. If you guys don't know that parry, that is back 1. That is back 2 plus 4. You can also do back 1 plus 3. Same thing. You can parry after the second hit there. So if you're noticing that the Jack player is constantly doing that string, you can blow them up for doing this. Very possible. Now, to avoid all of this in the first place, if you had a read on them going low, of course, low parrying is simply the option here again, right? Just so that you don't even have to be put in that situation in the first place, right? So that's just something I want you guys to keep in mind, that low parrying is really important against Jack. It just stops him being very annoying with his pokes and his lows, because those things can get really annoying. He already has a high damage output when it comes to his combos and when you get launched and stuff like that. So low parrying definitely helps a lot to just keep momentum, turn the tables, and it's just a much better option than just getting Y Rising 4 as a punish in general. Alright, the next move I want to talk about is his forward 1+2. Now this is what it looks like. You guys probably seen this a bunch of times. Now this is a move that they tend to want to use to clip you on counter hit, or they want to whiff punish you. Maybe you whiff something out. Maybe you like threw something out and then you got clipped, right? And you get launched for it. Like that. And then it goes into a full combo. Now, this move right here, it really just comes down to your spacing and your movement. Because 1 is very easy to whiff punish. Right? It's really slow, very easy to whiff punish. This just comes down to your spacing. The only thing about this, it does cover a lot of ground, a lot of space. So even from here, you'll get hit. He moves forward a significant amount, right? However, against Jack in general, you should be moving a lot. He's one of those characters, he has a lot of forward specials which moves him forward. For example, even his forward 1, this one here. Right? A lot of forward moving normals in general. So because of that, when you're playing neutral with this character, you kind of want to be spaced out. You don't want to be super in his face unless you've already started applying pressure. If there's nothing being done, you don't really want to just be in this range constantly because of these things. You want to make sure you're at a range where you can try and make these things whiff, because these are the type of moves that they try to actually fish with, right? And when those moves become unavailable to them because they're getting whiff punished for going for it, right? When those become unavailable, they're going to have to start overextending. They're going to have to start running at you. They're going to have to start, you know, doing things that they can get punished for because they're not comfortable throwing the moves that they want to throw out anymore. So make sure that you're spacing yourself out at certain ranges to make these sort of things with. And we're going to look at more moves as well. We're going to look at more moves, but these are just some of the ones. These moves as well, I do want to go back to this forward 1+2 really quickly, just so you can see the frame there on block. This is minus, look at this guys. If you've ever blocked this, Do not let them get away with this. Do not let them get away with this. His man is 15. Right? You can get a launch for this. Launch. Big damage. Right? Man is 15 here. Very, very punishable. Right? So that's one. You can even go back 1+4 if you like, if you prefer. Right? Team frame stop anyways, you can do that too. Right? So again, one, you should be looking to make it whiff, but if you happen to block it in the first place, it's still punishable anyways. Alright, so that's one thing. Now his forward one, which is this one here. This one here. If you get hit by this, you should not be pressing the button, by the way. He's very plus here. If you get hit by this, you should not be pressing the button. If you block it, you are +6, so you can't punish him here. And you also get pushed back quite a bit to where you're here. You can't really do too much. However, just know that you are at an advantage, but not enough for you to really do anything. But try to take your turn back a little bit or move about. It's not the worst situation, it's not the best situation, but it's alright. It's nothing too crazy. Alright, next I want to talk about his throw game. The reason I want to talk about his throw game is because I think it's very underrated, and this character is low-key a grappler with some of the throws he's got. His throw game is similar to Nina's throw game. You know, he has the 1 breaks, the 2 breaks, the 1+2 breaks. He has a very good throw game, and his throws do a good amount of damage too. Surprisingly, a lot of damage. I'm going to show you some of the throws that you guys have probably been thrown by, like some of the more common throws, I want to say, that Jack players go for. It's really these main 3 here. So if I show you the first one. Now, I understand that learning how to break throws is something that takes a while, obviously, but if you constantly get thrown by these throws and you don't exactly know what the break is, I'm just showing you guys what the break to those throws are, right? So you can at least recognize it. So this one here, where he basically breaks your back, right? He snaps your back, right? This one is a 2 break. So if you're constantly getting hit by this grab right here, remember that it's a 2 break. The back breaker is a 2 break, right? So that's number 1. The next throw you guys probably get hit by is this one here, right? The one where he jumps and slams you down. This is a 1 break. It's a 1 break. This is a 1 break. Alright, and then there's the third one, which is this one here. This is a 1+2 break. This is 1+2. A lot of Jack players will see that you're not breaking a particular throw and they keep going for that same throw knowing that you don't know how to break that one, and you end up losing a lot of damage for it. So here I am showing you guys the breaks for each individual one. This is a 1+2 break here. Right, so at least, even if you're not the best at breaking throws, I don't think I'm the best at breaking throws in general, but if I know which throws my opponent is going for, and I know the break for it, I'm going to break those throws. The only time I struggle, or I think anyone struggles, is when they simply don't know what the break is for that particular throw. But yeah, hopefully that does help you guys. Okay, now I want to look at his heat engages that he has here. His main heat engages here. You have his back 2. So now here. Now this is something that can throw out. It doesn't have the craziest amount of range. I mean, you stand here, it won't hit you, right? It is pretty close range. They like to use this when you're close to the wall sometimes, when you're like close to the wall, so you don't really have anywhere to run. But yeah, this is a heat engager. You get hit. Of course, you can heat dash and everything. So be careful with that. But again, your movement and spacing against Jack is very, very important, right? First of all, Nina has better movement than Jack in general, right? You can outmaneuver. That's 1. 2, a lot of Jack's buttons tend to have a lot of startup. You know, he hits hard, but he can be slow. a lot of recovery for you to whiff punish. So if you're playing around this range where we talked about his forward 1+2, making him whiff and stuff like that, you're playing around this range in general, you will be able to avoid stuff like this happening, unless you're already in that space, in that situation, like maybe you've been knocked down. But if you're in neutral in general, you should be looking for all these type of things to whiff, right? With whatever whiff punish you're ready for, you should be looking for these type of whiffs in general, right? So that's one thing. All right, next one here. This is his back 1+2. Now, I believe this one has a little bit more range. Yeah, it seems to have a little bit more range. It's also a heat engager as well. All right, here's a heat engager. It's a mid too. If you block this, this is very punishable, unlike the other one. You block this, you are minus, well, he's minus 19, you're plus 19. Meaning you get a punish, right? Right? You get punishes. Very good. Right? You get launches. I'm saying down forward 2 not the best option though. You do down forward 2, you don't have enough range. So make sure you're not launching with that. Make sure you're launching with back 1+4, I'd say. Even, nah, see, I don't like that. Back 1+4 is only if you're maybe this close, right? But if he hits you like at the tip, you see how that whiffed the first hit? So I don't even like that either. Down back 3+4 is a lot more consistent because it actually moves you forward in the first place, right? So your main go-to punish for that would be down back 3+4. I guess you could do up forward 2-1 as well, depending on what you want in that situation, right? But I think down back 3+4 is the most consistent one by far. Okay, now we're gonna look at his power crush here. Pretty standard power crush, to be honest. I mean, you know, he's minus 12. Just like most power crushes, you're gonna get your back 1-4 punish, right? Or if you want to get in heat engager, you get a down back 1+2 and you're in, of course, right? You wanna go for maybe a mix or whatever and get plus frames here, whatever you want to do in general. Pretty standard power crush. You get hit, right? It does push you back like full screen, so you gotta be careful about that. Apart from that, it's a pretty standard power crush here. Okay, now we have his 1+2. Another move you might see quite a lot. I see a lot of Jack players use this in desperation sometimes. Now, maybe if you're side stepping too much, you get caught by this because it is home in mid. And this also launches, by the way, right? Naturally, no counter hit needed or anything. It just naturally launches. So if maybe they're catching you pressing a lot of buttons, they might just try and go for this, like, oh, if I just press and you get caught. However, this is punishable. Block, right? Minus 13. So get the usual punish. And another thing, it's another one of those moves that's pretty slow. It's very slow on start. You know, you can see it with punish. So it goes back again to the original game plan versus Jack. You know, a lot of his moves will easily whiff unless they overextend a bit more and come a lot closer to you. And if they do come a lot closer to you, it's not like Nina's weak up close. She's not. She has very good pressure tools, right? So being up close is just as dangerous as it is to him as they think they're being a danger to you. You know, Nina has very good tools up close. She's better up close actually, in general. But she can outmaneuver him. She has better movement. Obviously, you've got your steps, right? And a lot of his moves have good range, but his movement isn't good enough to just never whiff. If you are good with your movement, trust me, you will force them to whiff a lot of things out. And your whiff punishing is better than his. You have launchers that whiff punish into huge damage, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. This right here, it is something that they tend to try to throw out. This is pretty Hail Mary. This is something a Jack player shouldn't just be throwing out just because it is unsafe. Obviously not launch punishable. But look, all I did was backdash there and I made it whiff. All I did was backdash. He's literally in range. This is not something they should just be throwing out, right? Okay, now I want to talk about probably one of the most troublesome things when it comes to playing against Jack. And it's probably the thing they play around with the most. That is his Gamma Howl stance. So this one right here, right, we've all seen it. Right, it's got armor as well, and then if you try to attack him, he goes into other things. Now this stance here, I'm gonna show you guys each and every one of the different transitions from the Gamma Howl stance, like all the different iterations, all the different follow-ups and stuff. And I'll just show you guys some answers, what they do, what you guys can do, what you can't do. Right? So first you have Gamma Howl into 1. That's what it looks like. Oh, sorry. Before we even get into the different things, I want to show you guys when you can expect Gamma Howl to come from, right? So what did they do it off of? A lot of the time they don't just do it raw, they do it from another button. So you have forward 3, which goes into Gamma Howl stance here, right? And then he goes into follow-ups. Now he's +2 there, right? So you can't really just force your way out. You can't really just answer with a button, right? +2 there, so you have to block, right? The next one they do is up 3. This is what it looks like, right? And he's +8 there. They might do this a little bit more, maybe, simply because it's +8 and not +2, so they get even more frame advantage. So that's one. Right? Now, once he's already gone into the stance, here are now the follow-ups. Here are the follow-ups now. First one, got Gamma Howl into 1. This is mid and it's homing. There is no sidestep in this. There's no sidestep in this, it's mid. Right? So you have to block this, right? However, you're +9 after this. He's -9. So you cannot punish him, but you can take your turn back very well. You can definitely take your turn back. Even though he's not punishable, you can take your turn back. +9, you have a lot of like room to breathe here, right? So that's one. When that happens to you and you've blocked it, don't worry, don't panic. There's no punish, but you just go back to playing your game. The next one, Gamma Howl into 2. Now he's +11 there, right? However, if you block it, you're fine. This changes in heat, but we'll get into the heat version afterwards. Right? You're -11 there. However, this is a high. So if you have a read on this, you can duck and launch, right? As a read. But keep in mind, if he does Gamma Howl into 1, and you thought he was going to do 2, now you get hit here. So you have to be careful with this. And he probably, I think he gets a guaranteed hit on the ground as well in this situation, I believe. So you gotta be careful here. Not a full launch, but you do get punished. So it is a guess situation, but you just have to know your options. What is next here? So this one. Next here, Gamma Howl into 4. Now this one is this is probably one of the most popular options. He's +4, it pushes you like towards the wall as well. They like doing it close to the wall too. You know, it's a very common option that they tend to go for that. Again, this is a high duckable. So again, there's two follow-ups that are highs, right? Gamma Howl into 2 is a high, Gamma Howl into 4 is also a high. Gamma Howl into 1 is a mid, but it's not a launcher outside of heat, right? So every time you see stance, just know what your options are here. Know what your options are. Next one here, he has a lot of follow-ups. Then he's got Gamma Howl into 3. Now this one here, steppable. If you know he's gonna do it, right? If you know he's gonna do it, I recommend stepping to the left. Stepping to the right seems to have more tracking. Let me step to the left instead. Right, 1 second. Right, stepping to the left, I recommend more. That situation, and then you could get a launch if you're ready for that. Right. If you block this, he's +4. So again, he has options to stay plus. Right. Now the options that keep him plus are the options that they're most likely to go for because they don't want to just end their turn. So this is something that happens a lot more frequently than Gamma Howl into 1, for example, because that just ends his turn. This doesn't end his turn. So unless you have counterplay, right, then he's gonna do stuff like this. So be ready. All right, next one. Gamahau into 3+4. This is probably the most annoying one, you know? I mean, it's a power crush and the heat engager. And if he's already in heat, he gets the heat dash for a mix-up. However, it is a power crush, right? So as being a power crush is punishable. So they would usually go this if they see that you're trying to press in between the stances a lot. So as a call out. Or if they're already in heat, because it's a heat engager or going to heat dash, so they just do it because they don't care and they can just get extra plus frames. But it is punishable, power crush. So make sure you're punishing this. Don't let him get away with that if he's not in heat. Okay, now I'm gonna demonstrate some of these. There's one more action I want to demonstrate from Gamahau stance here. All right. There is one more action I want to demonstrate from the Gamahau stance, and that is the throw. He has a throw option. So on top of all the guesses, right, on top of everything, he has a throw option. In case you try to power crush or whatever, he does have a throw option here. So you gotta be careful with that. The break is 1+2. So 1+2 break. +2 break. But yeah, again, that throw does a lot of damage, so you don't want to be getting hit by that ever. But it is a 1+2 break here. 1+2. Okay, now I want to talk about his Gamahau stance and how certain things change when he's in heat. When Jack is in heat and he does Gamahau stance into 2, which is this one here. This is now a launcher. Even if it doesn't counter hit or anything, this now just launches you. So if I get hit, right? This is now a launcher. So this changes drastically. They might start using this version more when they're in heat, simply because of that. I remember it's homing, so there's no sidestep in it or anything, right? And it also goes from being like -11, like where it was, I believe, to now being -6 for him. So you're +6. So it's a little bit more safe than where it was, and also it just launches. So you gotta be careful about that. And then the next version that changes when he's in heat is his Gamahau into 2. This one here. This now guard breaks, and he can get a follow-up with his heat smash. And we all know his heat smash can break the walls as well. But yeah, this now guard breaks. So you're more inclined to try to duck now, even more so than you was before, simply because he gets guaranteed damage. But it's really scary because if you do happen to duck, then he also has this version, right? He's got Gamahau into 1, which if you do duck, you're gonna end up getting launched for it. So yeah, he becomes very scary in heat because of those two things, you know? It doesn't matter what you do, if it's the wrong choice, you're gonna get punished for it. But I still wanted to show you guys just so you guys know what situation you're actually in, so you can just actually decide what you're gonna go for there. But yeah, just be careful with that because he gets access to his guard break there. One more thing I forgot to mention about Gamahau stance, he has one more thing I didn't mention. He has a low grab in Gamahau stance. So if he does Gamahau, he has a low grab here. And as you guys know, low grabs are not breakable in Tekken 8, fortunately. So if you get caught ducking, for example, you thought he was gonna do Gamahau into 2, and you said, or into 4 maybe, and you thought, oh, I'm gonna duck and launch him. He's gonna now potentially do this. And this is a guaranteed throw. Now that throw I did was 1+3. That was the 1+3 throw. He also has a 2+4 throw. So if he does, it's also a low grab. Let me record this. It's also a low grab. However, the 2+4 one, right here, is a heat engager. So yeah, if you get caught ducking, he has options for all of it. So I can't give you guys like the only advice I can give you guys against Gamahau stance is pay attention to what they're going for when they go for Gamma House stance. Are they being obvious, always going for the same thing? You know, if they're mixing it up very well, it is simply a guessing situation. I can't tell you guys how to defend in that situation, but just pay attention to what they're actually going for. See if you can get like a pattern or something they're most likely to do in that situation, if it makes sense for you. Because Jack, he actually has options for everything, right? You can't just negate this. But okay, I think we're coming towards the end of the guide. As always, let me summarize everything. Let me check my notes real quick. So yeah, general game plan against Jack in general. Here's how I approach this character. I understand Nina has better mobility. When it comes to mobility, she's better. When it comes to the speed of the buttons, she's better. When it comes to whiff punishing, she's better. Now, when it comes to raw damage output, they can basically match each other for that. I'd say Jack has better burst damage from like single attacks, right? He's got stuff like forward one, like single attacks. He's got a lot of attacks that go into heat engages that are safe and stuff like that. So you gotta be careful. However, those attacks you can make with, those attacks you can move around against, right? It's not something you can't negate. Now, again, Gamma House stance I think tends to be the biggest issue. You simply have to, if you get the correct guess, you simply have to try and not put yourself in that situation again in the first place, right? I don't believe that this is a really super tough matchup. I do again want to stress the fact that against Jack, low parrying is so effective. A lot of the time you get caught blocking low and the only punish you get for his down back one is up rising 4, Y rising 4. And sometimes it's just not enough. When he's doing damage, he's doing big damage. If he blocks your low, he's doing more. So low parrying just increases the amount of opportunities you create for yourself. You get bigger combos, bigger damage, to where he might not get back up again, simply because you low parried one of his down back ones. That might be the end of the round, you know? You get your combo into whatever, and then he might not get back up that round. So yeah, Nina has a lot of opportunities to beat Jack when it comes to this matchup. So yeah, anyways, I hope this helped you lot. This is my guide for Jack 8 versus Nina. Let me know down below in the comments which character you guys want me to do next, and I'll try to make that happen. And yeah, man, if you haven't already liked the video, make sure you guys like the video. If it helped at all, make sure you guys like the video. I'd appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Peace.